Hello everyone, how are you today? Hopefully, all of you are in good condition. Today, we will learn about multiplication with regrouping. Please pay attention in order to understand about the lesson.
Multiply. Let's find 18 times 3. First, multiply the ones by 3. 8 ones times 3 equals 24 ones. Regroup 24 ones into 4 ones and 2 tens. Next, multiply the tens by 3 and add the regrouped tens. 1 10 times 3 equals 3 tens, plus 2 tens equals 5 tens. 18 times 3 equals 54. Let's find 45 times 6. First, multiply the ones by 6. 5 ones times 6 equals 30 ones. Regroup 30 ones into 0 ones and 3 tens. Next, multiply the tens by 6 and add the regrouped tens. 4 tens times 6 equals 24 tens, plus 3 tens equals 27 tens. Regroup 27 tens into 2 hundreds and 7 tens. 45 times 6 equals 270. Let's find 186 times 4. Multiply the ones by 4. 6 ones times 4 equals 24 ones. Regroup 24 ones into 4 ones and 2 tens. Multiply the tens by 4 and add the regrouped tens. 8 tens times 4 equals 32 tens. 32 tens plus 2 tens equals 34 tens. Regroup 34 tens into 4 tens and 3 hundreds. Finally, multiply the hundreds by 4 and add the regrouped hundreds. 100 times 4 equals 4 hundreds, plus 3 hundreds equals 7 hundreds. 186 times 4 equals 744. Let's find 593 times 6. Multiply the ones by 6. 3 ones times 6 equals 18 ones. Regroup 18 ones into 8 ones and 1 10. Multiply the tens by 6 and add the regrouped tens. 9 tens times 6 equals 54 tens. 54 tens plus 1 10 equals 55 tens. Regroup 55 tens into 5 tens and 5 hundreds. Multiply the hundreds by 6 and add the regrouped hundreds. 5 hundreds times 6 equals 30 hundreds. 30 hundreds plus 5 hundreds equals 35 hundreds. Regroup 35 hundreds into 3 thousands and 5 hundreds. 593 times 6 equals 3,558.
We'll say 20 2 times 9, okay? 22 times 9. Now, I'm going to multiply, because of the distributive property, I know that I'm going to multiply this 9 by my ones place and my tens place. And then we'll put them together. So 9 times 2 is 18. And I put this 1 up here because I can't put an 18 right down here yet. I can't do that. All right? Because so I regroup. Now, when I say regroup, I'm not talking about borrowing or anything like that. But again, I have 18. There's too many for my ones place. I have to put one in my tens place. So now I have 9 times 2 again, which is 18. But I have this 1 up here. What do I do with that 1? If I'm regrouping, what do I do with this 1? Megan. I add it. Now, do I add it to the 2 before I multiply? Or do I add it to the 18 after I multiply? That's a good question. Or you might think it's easy. To me, I thought it was a good question. See here.
After you multiply.
After I multiply. So 9 times 2 is 18 plus 1 is 19. 198. Okay. Now, it says estimating. 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 When we estimate, we're going to take them and we're going to round them to the nearest number. So, I'm going to round this 20 to the nearest 10. 20 times 9. Now, isn't 20 times 9 easier to multiply than 22 times 9? So it says estimate. Take the bigger number, and you are going to round it to the nearest 10. 20 times 9, or 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 2 is 18. So this is estimating. Okay? And this is with regrouping.
Now let's learn about carrying over. 4 times 3 equals 12. I write 2. I carry the 1. 4 times 4 equals 16. 16 plus 1 equals 17. I write 7. I carry the 1. 4 times 2 equals 8. 8 plus 1 equals 9. I write 9. 243 times 4 equals 972. Now let's try with another number. 3 times 5 equals 15. I write 5. I carry the 1. 3 times 7 equals 21. 21 plus 1 equals 22. I write 2. I carry the 2. 3 times 3 equals 9. 9 plus 2 equals 11. I write 11. 375 times 3 equals 1125.
Cover how to multiply 3-digit numbers by 1-digit numbers, and we have 2 examples that we're going to go through together in order to get this down. So let's find each product here, and remember, product means the answer to a multiplication problem. So for number 1, we have 436 times 4, and the first thing we need to do is set this problem up. So we can do 436 times 4. Now it's important that your places are lined up. So notice that the 6 and 4 are lined up. That's because they're both in the ones place. Now that we're set up, we're ready to multiply. So we can do 4 times 6, 4 times 3, and 4 times 4. So we'll start with 4 times 6, which is 24. So we write our 4 here, and we carry our 2 to the tens place. Now we need to do 4 times 3. We're actually doing 4 times 30 because that 3 is in the tens place,
but we can just think of it as the simple digits of 4 times 3. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus that 2 gives us 14. So we write our 4 here, and we carry our 1 to the hundreds place. Now we're doing 4 times 4. Really, it's 4 times 400 because that 4 is in the hundreds place and gives that 4 a value of 400, but we can think of it as just the plain digits of 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, plus that 1 is 17. We can put our 1 from the 17 right here because we don't have any more places to carry to, so we can just drop that 1 down, and we get an answer of 1,744. So on to number 2, where we have 937 times 8. So the first thing we need to do, set up the problem. 937 times 8. Remember, line up your places so the 7 and 8 are lined up because they're both in the ones place. Now we're ready to multiply. 8 times 7 is 56. So let's carry our 5 to the tens place. Now we do 8 times 30, or we can just think of it as 8 times 3 plus that 5. So 8 times 3 is 24, plus that 5 is 29. Carry our 2, and we have 8 times 900, or just think of it as 8 times 9 plus 2. So 8 times 9 is 72, plus 2 gives us 74. And we can just write our 7 here because we don't have any more places, so just bring that 7 down. And we get 7,496.
Let's multiply 7 times 253 and see what we get. So just like in the last example, what I like to do is I like to rewrite the largest number first, so that's 253, and then write the smaller number below it and align the place value. The 7, it only has a ones place, so I'll put the 7 right over here below the ones place in 253, and then put the multiplication symbol right over here. So you could read this as 253 times 7, which we know is the same thing as 7 times 253. And now we are ready to compute. And there are many ways of doing this, but this would you could call the standard way. So what I do is I start with my 7, and I multiply it times each of the numbers up here, and I carry appropriately. So first I start with 7 times 3. Well, 7 times 3, we know, is 21. Let me write that down. 7 times 3 is equal to 21. You could do this part in your head, but I just want to make it clear where I'm getting these numbers from. What I would do in the standard method is I would write the 1 into 21 down here, but then carry the 2 to the tens place. Now, I want to figure out what 7 times 5 is. Now I want to figure out what 7 times 5 is. We know from our multiplication tables that 7 times 5 is equal to 35. Now, we can't just somehow put the 35 down here. We still have to deal with this 2 that we carried. So we compute 7 times 5 is 35, but then we also add that 2. So it's 35 plus 2 is 37. Now, we write the 7 right over here in the tens place and carry the 3. Carry the 3. Now we need to compute what 7 times 2 is. We know that 7 times 2 is 14 from our multiplication tables. We can't just put a 14 down here. We have this 3 to add, so 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. So now we can write the 17 down here because 2 is the last number that we have to deal with. And so we have our answer. 7 times 253 is 1,771.
That's all the lesson for today. Don't forget to study in order to understand more about the lesson. Thank you very much for your attention and keep struggle.